And now we're honored to have with us head of the immunotherapy lab at Bar-Ilan University, Professor Cyrill Cohen himself, experiencing this whole story firsthand. Bonjour Cyrill, happy to be speaking to you.
Bonjour Amit, hello.
Bonjour. So Cyrill, this video managing to leave so many people around the world absolutely speechless. What was your experience there and how did you feel?
So yeah, basically I was kind of, stunned or surprised. As you mentioned, I've been giving interviews even for ILTV for the past 3 years about COVID, about science, about immunology. And that interview has been going on there in France for 45 minutes. And then suddenly that question that was not related to science, not related to whatever, I was saying about, a COVID wave or whatever. And I felt it was not, I think, the best question to add because I was kind of surprised a little bit. I felt a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning. But then again, I tried to do my best to answer the concerns of the people asking me those questions.
And you definitely did. So did you get the chance to speak to the anchor, to the panelists after the show? I mean, what did they have to tell you?
Yeah, actually, I spoke with the anchor yesterday and 2 days ago, and he apologized for that. He didn't want to put me, on the spot, or he didn't want to ask me. He told me that he was trying to relay the questions what he was getting on social media, and I think that he wasn't interested in kind of developing that more than it was by that French Jewish journalist Elisabeth Levy. I think that this is a clash of cultures. In Israel, we are kind of open and around the world. But I think that in France, there is that question of secularism that is very important. And I think that was more as a message. But I think it was, I would have felt better if this question wasn't asked.
And Cyrill, were you aware of the law of not wearing religious pieces, religious items into public places? I mean, you're saying that you were asked a question 45 minutes into the panel, into the interview. So have you heard about it before? Or, I mean, it can be argued whether news is a public place, but have you heard of it before?
No, but you have to make a distinction. That particular law you're referring to is in school, for example, or in a very, I would say, defined environment. Like, for example, if you work in the ministry, in a ministry of something, yes, you might be assigned, or you might have not to display any head covering or religious signs, but that doesn't. I would say it is not, I would say, something that is pertinent to your being in a studio, which is a private venue. So that's, I mean, I never felt, I mean, I gave around 700 interviews on TV. Okay, I was all around the world. In France, I gave like 200 or 300 interviews, and no one has ever asked about my kippah. So yes, I mean, I was aware of that law, but I didn't think it applies to the situation in which I was being asked or whatever.
You were clearly handling the situation very nicely, although it was clear that you were very uncomfortable there. You even managed to confront them, giving a great example of a priest or a pope. And Cyrill, as a Jewish man wearing a kippah, have you experienced more remarks like this before?
No, actually, no. I mean, I'm not talking about anti-Semitism. I don't think that what happened there is anti-Semitism at all. It's not, to my, I would say, because of my personal relationship with the anchor, etc. I don't think it is. I know it's not anti-Semitism because on the same channel a year ago, I was actually, the anchor wished me happy Hanukkah. But in terms of anti-Semitism, I did experience that in France when I was younger. I left France 30 years ago. And sometimes, people might look at whatever sign you have on your head, like, something that identify yourself as something. But no, I never had that kind, especially on live, live TV. I never had that kind of experience. It was interesting, but as you understood, I'm Jewish. I'm proud of being Jewish, proud of being Israeli. So, I'm here. I stand for my beliefs and what I am, and that's nothing more.
Cyrill, thank you so much for joining us, and happy Hanukkah soon.
Happy Hanukkah. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.